Good morning, class. My name is Architect Ruchi Arora. I am working as an associate professor with Galgotias University. So I will be taking your interior design class. The topic of today's presentation is elements of interior design. Whenever we talk about interior design, first question comes in our mind like what is interior design? So let me explain you. Interior design is defined as an orderly arrangement of lines, forms, colors, textures and so on in design go as to create beauty in interiors. So these are the prerequisites of this particular lecture. Understanding interior design, what are the different definitions of interior design, why interior design is important for our society, role of interior design in construction industry, why is it important worldwide, then what is the basic difference between the interior designer and an architect. So these are the objectives of this particular lecture. What is the importance of interior design? Why it is important worldwide? What is the role of interior design in the construction industry? Then what is the difference between elements and principles of design? Why these elements and principles of design are important? Then what are the different elements of interior design and what are their importance? There are 7 interior design elements. What are those? Good design has to tell a story. It has to stop people and make the wonder. Good design is a conversation between the spaces and the people who are living out there. So interior architecture is the balancing of the art and science. Art is that how you are arranging these particular type of fixtures and furnitures in a room, and science is that how you are constructing different types of spaces. So it is the balancing of the art and science of designing an interior space, taking into account all elements of buildings like doors, windows, partitions, walls, staircases, etc. So interior design is a broad ranging profession taking into account all aspects of planning and designing interior spaces in the built environment. So architects basically design buildings while interior designers use different type of fixtures, furnitures, other accessories to create a desired look and function for spaces inside a building. An interior designer is the someone who plans, researches, coordinates, and manages such enhancement projects. Interior design is a multifaceted profession that includes conceptual, developmental, then space planning, site inspection, programming, research, communicating with the stakeholders or the client, construction management, and the execution of the design. Principles of interior design versus elements of interior design. So principles of design are the laws, or you can say that the guidelines of designing anything. These can be used anywhere like in interior design or in architecture or in graphic design, in print media. So in other words, you can say that to have a good design, you should consider these principles for the best design principles. And the elements of design are the parts that define the visual tools and components that person uses to create a composition. In other words, they represent the base of the graphic design. And the principles of design, on the other hand, are all about how a person uses the elements to create a visual and convey a message. So these elements and principles of design represent a set of guidelines that have the purpose of helping you create aesthetically pleasing visuals. The most significant difference between the design principles and the elements of interior design is that the latter can be labeled as rules, guidelines, while elements are the components that are going to help you follow these rules for the best design outcomes. For example, if you look at these pictures, like how these pictures are arranged, these are arranged in a particular fashion or a particular manner, so certain guidelines has been used. So these are the principles of interior design, and elements are basically the things, boxes these are the boxes which will help you to complete those rules for the best outcome projects. Then elements of design on the other hands are the things that are involved making a design successful, or you can say that aesthetically pleasing. So let us talk about the elements of interior design and the principles of interior design. So there are 7 elements of interior design. What are those? Line, space, shape and volume, texture, pattern, color. And if we talk about the principles of interior design, what are those? Balance, focus, rhythm, contrast, detail, scale and proportion. So the elements of design can be thought of as the things that make up an artwork. Basically, if I give you an example, so these are the ingredients of any dish or any platter. So, and the principles of design are the ways to organize. These are the guidelines how we are organizing the elements of interior design in any composition. How we are applying the principles of interior design that determines how successful we are in creating a piece of artwork. So designers basically use these principles of interior design to create good compositions. So these can be used in any decoration work, or it can be used in the arrangements. So these are the ways of arranging or organizing the design elements. These can be used to evaluate each element in a interior design. So these can be arranged to create a feeling of stability in any artwork. When we are thinking about interior design, words like creativity and flair immediately spring to our mind. But many would be surprised to find there is a degree of science involved. How science is involved in this? In the construction process, a particular type of science is involved in this. So professional interior designers will usually follow a set of informal rules, which is particularly based on specific interior design principles. We just talk about those principles and elements. So these interior design elements include space, lines, forms, lighting arrangements, then the different type of textures, hard texture, soft texture, then the different type of patterns and the different type of color schemes, obviously. So these are very important for any design work. So as an interior designer, it is our responsibility to balance. So balance is the key to create any artwork. So it should look pleasing. In addition to enhancing the appearance of a room, getting these elements to work together in a harmony. So as an interior designer, it is our responsibility to create a harmonious effect. So let us discuss elements of interior design in detail. First one is the line. So it defines a subject's form or shape on a flat two-dimensional surface. Line can be thin, it can be thick, it can be curved, it can be jagged lines. So it can be organic lines, free-flowing lines, it can be spiral lines. So in the interior design, lines create furnishings and architecture of a room. It basically sets form and shape. It is also responsible for creating harmony, contrast and unity in any design. So line can be used to show the movement. Like line can be used to show the movement. Like it is showing some directional characteristics. Like if we talk about roadside, we just see there are different type of tree lines are there on the roadside. So it give you a sense of direction. So direction of lines of a painting on a canvas or paper. So the artist combines horizontal line, vertical lines, diagonal lines, curved lines until the effect is pleasing. If we talk about the look at this first picture, so there are different type of lines are used. Like vertical lines are used here, then the zigzag line, jagged lines are used here. Then if we look at the texture on the flooring, so there are some lines are there on the flooring too, on the tabletop too. So blinds are used in on the windows, so these shows you a vertical lines. And if we talk about the arrangement of books on a shelf, so these are arranged in a vertical manner, so vertical lines are there. So lines have a positive emotional significance depending upon their direction and the quality. So vertical lines lead the eye up, adding height formality. So it gives you a sense of height. So it gives you a sense of grandeur-ness. It gives you a strengthenedness feeling. So it can be narrow draperies. It can be vertical lines can be used in the tall furniture. You can say that it can be used in the columns. If you look at here, then vertical lines are used in the balustrades, then in the windows, and it can be used in the curtain draperies. Horizontal lines lead the eye to the left on or right, suggesting informality. Horizontal line gives you a feeling of calmness, gentleness. If you look at this furniture, this sofa lines give you a sense of calmness, restfulness. It can be seen in long, low roofs, then the long furniture pieces such as sofas, chest. You can easily see in this table. So it is a combination of horizontal lines. It gives you a sense of action, activity, movement, excitement. Then diagonal lines give you a feeling of direction. So it can be used in any design. So natural free flowing lines or the soft lines gives you a soothing effect. It can be seen in the doorway arches. It can be used, it is used in the arches. Then curved furniture, rounded accessories, it can be used in the staircases, it can be used in the ceiling patterns. So all about is the lines. So lines are used everywhere. So next is shape and form. It is the second element of interior design. So form is the outlined edges. So these are the edges, outlined edges of a three-dimensional object. It has width and depth or height as well as the volume. So you can say that the 3D form. So it can be measured from top to bottom, height side to side, that is width, and from back to back, that is depth. So three characteristics are there: height, width, and depth. So form is also defined by the light and dark. You can show the form with the light and dark tones. So there are two types of form: geometric, that is man-made forms. These are all the geometric forms, man-made forms, and natural, that is free-flowing organic forms are there. Organic can be natural or living form. So inorganic geometric forms are basically the man-made and the non-living forms. There are open forms. Open forms are basically that can be looked into. So these are the closed forms. So form is sometimes referred to as the area, mass or shape, as I have already told you. So it is closely related to the lines. It is a combination of different type of lines, you can say that. So it gives the overall effect in your design. So for example, long rectangular table or sofa. So this is a long rectangular table or sofa in a room. It helps in creating a line of unity. So it is creating a feeling of unitedness in a room. But too many varieties, if there are too many varieties are there in a room, so it can create chaos. So there are too many forms are there. It will create a chaos. It will give you an effect of monotony in interior decoration. So without the beauty of form, excellent color, texture and decoration are of no use. For different type of form should be there in your design. Next is space. Space in two-dimensional design is essentially flat. It has height and width but no depth. So it is the area provided for a particular purpose. It may have two dimensions, length and width, such as floor, or it may have three dimensions like length, width and height, such as a room or dwelling. So it refers to the area that a shape or form occupies. So when the space changes gradually, it is more pleasing than when it changes abruptly. So space can be defined as a positive space and a negative space. So if we look at this first picture, the space which is the filled space, like under the counter, so this is the positive space. and the space which is the left out ones, it is the negative space. So this is the negative space in the second picture. So this all are the positive space. So on the flooring, this is a negative space. So interior spaces are are formed by the building structural system, further defined by wall and ceiling planes, and related to other spaces by windows and doorways. For example, when a chair is placed in a room, it not only occupies space, but it also creates a relationship, that is a spatial relationship between itself and the surrounding enclosure. Look at the second picture. This particular bed is placed in a room, so it is making a spatial relationship with the space that is inside a room. So we should see more than the form of the chair. We should not recognize the form of the space surrounding the chair. We have to focus it on the type of furniture after it has filled some of the voids. So it depends upon the interior designer. Then the negative space is the empty space or the open space between design elements or objects such as the background. So next one is the light. It is very important for interiors as well as for the exteriors. So when light strikes an object, it may be reflected, absorbed, or some of the light would be allowed to pass through. So there would be three condition arises. So light has a functional as well as an aesthetic effect. Light may be dull or it could be sharp, bright or diffused. So different type of spaces have different lighting requirements. For example, in office spaces, it is important that workers can complete their task in time, often involving reading printed documents or working at the computer. But if we talk about the lighting in retail, it should be designed to allow the product to shine. The two biggest contributors to functionality from a lighting perspective are quantity of light, like in which what quantity light should be provided, and next is the lighting quality. Quality of light is very important in exteriors as well as in interior. So it is the prime animator of interior space. You can say that light plays an important role in interior design. Without light, there would be no visible form, color, or identification of the texture. You cannot discriminate colors, so nor any visible enclosure of any interior space. So too little and it becomes difficult to perform necessary tasks. If too much light is there, there would be glare. If less light is there, then the occupant feel tiredness. It is not possible for occupant to complete the task on time. So too much and it causes glare. Both scenarios can cause eye discomfort. Obviously, if the light is less or more, it could create discomfort for the occupant, which lead to the health issues, both physical and emotional. There are three important types of lighting that designers are concerned with. First one is the ambient, second is task lighting, third is the accent lighting. So what is task lighting? Task lighting is that which illuminate a specific area. Like you need task light for reading, writing. For example, if a desk is having a lamp which allows one to add more light to complete a working task. So this type of lighting is known as task lighting. Another one is the accent light. Accent light is used to add highlight, drama, focus to the interior space. Basically used in the interiors for aesthetic purpose. So this includes directional lighting placed on the artwork. If we talk about the museum museum. So a directional type of lighting is used on the artwork, or you can say the paintings or the mannequins. If we talk about this picture, then you can see that this type of accent lighting is used, which is used for the decoration. Then this directional type of lighting is placed on the artwork or recessed floor lighting to graze the surface of a textured material. So lighting design should address not only the quantity of light required, but its a quality point, a line, plane, or a volume. So next is color. It produces favorable psychological and aesthetic effects. It can transform darkness into the light, then dullness into the brightness, gloominess into the cheerfulness, drabness into the beauty. So these are the properties of color. So it may be also used to create illusions of space, or it can provide luxury to the space, warmthness to the space, coolness to the space. It depends upon the color schemes used. So color is just like shape and texture, and inherent visual property of all form. We are basically surrounded by color in all our environmental settings. So it is the key element of interior design, used to create pleasing combinations, and also works on a psychological level of human. So every color has three characteristics: hue, value, and intensity. It is basically emphasized to create a hierarchy. Color may connote emotion. It gives you a sense of excitement, rage, peace, and it also stimulates brain activity. Paint or pigment is subtractive, working towards the black. If we mix red and blue color, red, blue and yellow, it can create pigment of any color. So there are tints, shades. If we add white to any pure form of color, then it will turn to tints of that color. If we add black to any color, then it will become the shade of that color. So there are different type of schemes. Color may be lightened or darkened, brightened or dulled, but the hue will remain the same. So there are primary colors, hues like red, yellow, blue. Secondary colors are there, which is prepared by mixing of primary colors like orange, green and violet. Then other are the tertiary colors, which are prepared by mixing of one primary and secondary colors like orange, yellow, red, orange. So there is a color schemes, complementary color scheme, monochromatic color scheme. So these are all about color. Next is texture and pattern. Texture is the surface characteristics of object. It refers to the roughness, smoothness, shine or dullness, softness or stiffness, its weight and fall, so on. Look at this first picture. Like this wall is having textured tiles. So it's like textured tiles are there. So this sofa is having smooth texture. So texture give character as well as beauty to the objects, and on the other hand pattern refers to the sort of surface enrichment and applies to both two-dimensional and three-dimensional objects. A large room can support more patterns than a small room. Pattern could be naturalistic, or it could be stylized, or it could be geometric type, it could be abstraction. So if we look at the second picture, this flooring is having geometrical pattern, and this wall is also having geometrical tiles. So texture in home refers to the wall finish, rugs, woodwork, oil paintings, or woodwork for furniture. So these are the assignment questions. These are the references, and thank you for watching.